Welcome to Mr. Adkins' class. Once again, we're going to be talking today about basic music theory and counting out your rhythms. And we are going to learn how to write rhythms just a little bit. I'm going to tell you the basic rhythms that I'm going to be expecting you to be able to write on the test. We're going to start out by saying we're working in common time first of all. Okay, common time is 4/4 time. So we're going to have 4 beats in each measure, and the quarter note is going to get 1 beat. Now, I'm going to be using just a percussion line, one line. I'm not going to do a whole staff because all we're dealing with is rhythms today. So on this one line, you imagine we're going through music. We're going to start with just 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we have those 4 quarter notes. When you count these in music, you're just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I were to change these notes, instead of them being quarter notes, I change them to eighth notes, then I would have to draw note there, note here, note here. Then I attach those right there, and this is 1 and 2 and 3 and. I'm just going to leave that quarter note there for a moment. Okay. Now, if we went to 16th notes, which you're going to be required to do, we are going to count that, add a note here, and add a note here, and we add a flag. That's 1 E and up. Add a note here, add a note here. That's 2 E and up. And I'm just going to leave the rest of those there. Okay, so the basic counting is going to be 1 E and 2 E and for the 16th notes, then every time you have the 8th notes. Notice how these line up exactly. I didn't change anything from the quarter note to the 8th note to the 16th note. We just made sure that when we have 16th notes in there, we fill out the 1 E and a. Okay? Now, the next step is we're going to do a combination of these two, 8th notes and 16th notes. Okay? So I'm going to work just on this first one right here. So I'm going to be erasing stuff. This stays the same, right? But all I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to change this back to the 8th note that it was. I'm going to change it to the 8th notes, and I still have this on 1, but now we're holding through the E. And so we'd say 1 and a, 1 and a. Now, I've been teaching you guys to say Bay City, Bay City, Bay City, Bay City, Bay City. Okay, that's 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. Okay, now I'm going to mess with this one just a little bit, and I'm going to take these two and change these two back to the 8th note. And again, the 8th note is right above the and. The 8th notes are on the 1 and the and. So it's 1 E and we're holding through the up. Okay? So that would be 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and. Okay? So you look at those notes and you see how those notes are written up there. If it's the 8th note and 2 16th notes, it's 1 and a. If it's 2 16th notes and an 8th note, it's 1 E and. If it's 4 16th notes, it's 1 E and a. And so I'm going to put that here now. So we see this again. 2 flags, 3 E and a. And then I'm just going to go ahead and change this to an 8th. Right there is everything you need to pass your test. If you can write on 1 beat, 1 and a, and count it correctly, you can do your whole measure of 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. On the second measure, you pop in a 2/16 notes and an eighth note. So let's say 2 beats on 1 and a 2 and a, and then the second and third, the third and fourth note are 3 and 4 and. You're there. Or you just throw in one set of 4/16 notes, 1 and a. Or you can pull one of each. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4 options that you can use in order to make sure that you have a full measure. 4 options, mix and mingle those, put them in different places in the measure, and you'll get the full measure. Now, I also told you that you need to have rests in there. Good thing is it doesn't change the counting at all. All you do is just figure out what kind of rest it is, insert it where you want to insert it. So I'm going to take right here, and it's going to be rest and a 2, rest and a 2. So I just had this eighth rest right there instead of the eighth note. And that's probably the easiest thing to do. You just put the eighth rest in where an eighth note is. And adjust your counting by just putting in. Right here, I can put rest and a 2. We got it. Okay? Basic counting.